Good morning. How was first week? What is BWSI? All right, I'm going to ask the second question. How will that happen? How is it transformational? We can answer that next time. That's good. Lots of reasons, lots of different ways, but think about that question. So today, again, put away your cell phones, turn off your computers. Today, we are extremely fortunate to have Professor Anant Agarwal, who's the CEO of EDX. He is, in my opinion, single-handedly changing the future of education. We also benefited from his initiative. Online courses, it's built on open edX platform, and that would only have been possible with edX. So you can see, you all read the abstract and the bio. You can see that he's actually very famous. And of course, he's extremely busy. And the fact that he made the time for us, this is an honor to have him. So let's with that, let's welcome Professor Anant Agarwal.
Thank you. You know, I've been teaching at MIT for 31 years. And in this very class, I actually haven't taught in this class for about 15, 17 years. I used to teach a very basic course in digital design here, and maybe for about 10 years. And not once did I get a welcome as good as this one, so thank you. Usually people are asleep. I think this class was really early in the morning, I think around 11 o'clock or something. So, so people were still kind of waking up and stuff like that. You know, the beauty of online education is imagine not having to go to class at 8 o'clock in the morning. For a second there, you guys had me worried. I thought you guys were also asleep. So you want to guess, with videos online, even for learning, guess what time of day do we see the maximum video watching in any given region of the world? Any region of the world. 12 a.m. You guys know the answer. From 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. is the maximum video watching time. And then we wonder why we drag students into class at 7:30, 8, or 9 o'clock in the morning. I just don't get it. How many of you have taken an edX course? Okay. Okay, you know, I should take a picture of that. So I guess I'll just skip through the first 25 of my slides and just get to the last 5 slides or something. But be that as it may. All right. So let me start by asking you a question. 2030. That's the year 2030. Okay. 12 years from now. So I want you to get into the zone and think of the year 2030. And shout out the answer for me. What fraction of today's jobs do you think will still be around by 2030? So you guys are all in high school, and you'll be looking for jobs and all that stuff, and looking to study for jobs. But what fraction of today's jobs do you think will be around in 2030? Let's start from, let's get 3. How about there? Yeah, you. 1/8 will still be around. We have a really optimistic fellow here. How about you in the middle there? 1/7 will still be around. Ooh. 3/4 will still be around. Wow. 1/3 will still be around. So it looks like we're all clueless. Okay. The answers range from 1/8 through to 70%. Believe it or not, the answer is 50% of today's jobs will be gone. Okay, it's a good enough guess. 50% of today's jobs will be gone by 2030. And this is, many studies have shown this from McKinsey, from Oxford, and other places. all the jobs are transforming to newer jobs. And what this means, so you guys are not into jobs yet, but what this means is that for people who are working, just imagine each time you shake hands with somebody, I joke with them, each time you shake hands with somebody, remember that by 2030, one of you won't be there. Now that is scary. That is scary. So just think about that. And what is happening is that it's not as if the jobs are gone forever and you won't have a job. There are jobs. What is happening is that there's this phenomenon called skills transformation happening in the industry, where the kind of thing you work at changes. Now, if you're as old as I am, I've been teaching for 31 years, and I'm one of the lucky ones. I've been doing pretty much the same thing with different people every year, and I've been able to do that. But in the industry, as you go into the future of work, the nature of work is changing. Gone are the days when you could go to college at the age of 18, study for 4 years, get a degree, and then plan to get a job, or get a master's if you want after that, get a job, and then work for the rest of your life in one job. Those days are gone. Jobs are changing continuously, okay? And if you look at, just look at every industry. Every industry is being completely transformed. I won't even, bother to ask you the question, how many of you have taken a Lyft or some other similar services? But these companies are completely transforming entire industries. Lyft and Uber have transformed the transportation industry. Look, when you're in the Massachusetts area, when you talk about transforming the hotel industry, which company do you talk about? Which company do you talk about in Massachusetts? Begins with the T. TripAdvisor, that's it. So companies like TripAdvisor and this other company called Airbnb and HomeAway and VRB are completely transforming the hospitality industry. So what is happening is that many traditional ways of doing things are being completely changed into newer ways of doing things using automation, technology, AI, and those sorts of things. And because of that, there's a whole new class of jobs that's coming on the horizon, and the older fashioned or the older type of jobs and skills are getting less and less. So this means that the future of work is transformation. You've got to keep getting new skills. And what this also means is that we have to reskill an entire planet. But our education system is focused on 18 to 22. Whether it's MIT or Harvard or Boston University or Northeastern or any of the universities here or anywhere in the world are focused on students after high school for 4 years or 5 years, and you train them, educate them, and then you let them go. But the world is changing. Okay, so really get this into your heads, that the future of work will be continuous education, lifelong education, where you have to continually be reskilling yourself as newer and newer jobs are up. So for example, take data science. Data science is one of the hottest fields today. There's 3 million jobs in data science in the US alone. You'll be shocked. The phrase data science was not coined in 2007. I remember in CSAIL, I used to be in CSAIL before edX, and we had a big debate. We were launching a major program in what became known as data science, and there was a big debate among students and the faculty. Should we call this new burgeoning field big data? Should we call it data science? Should we call it data analytics? We were arguing what to call this field, and this was just 10 years ago. Okay, and most of the jobs are in this field. So we need to rethink our education system from one where you educate people once and let them go to a system where people have to continuously reskill. And in fact, we have a huge challenge in front of us. We have to reskill an entire planet. I mean, if half the people are going to have to be reskilled by 2030, that is a huge, huge undertaking. And so that is not just one motivation to change how we think and how we educate, but even all of you are changing. So on the left, that's my daughter, Anisha, and this was, she's now a freshman in college. And in case you're wondering what she's doing, she claims to be studying. Right? And I was passing by her room once, and she had 3 screens in front of her. Okay, one was a laptop. She had sniped my iPad, my mini iPad. and she had a smartphone there. And I said, you're nuts. You have 3 screens in front of you. Your brain's going to get mush. What the heck are you doing? I said, oh, Dad, I'm studying. So what do you mean? She said, look, I'm doing physics web assign on my laptop, right? And so she claimed. And then she said, I'm WhatsApping my friends, as we collaborate on the homework on my smartphone. And then she's watching YouTube videos on the mini iPad. How many of you do things like this? Our generation is utterly clueless about this new world. Utterly, okay? We don't know. So I got mad. Okay, but this is today's normal. This way of learning is today's normal. Mobile, iPad, online. In my day, movies were like solid movies, like 2 hours. In fact, when I grew up in India, Indian movies were 3 hours, and they had like a 10-minute intermission for like lunch or food. Okay, now those were meaty, solid movies. How many of you have been to a 3-hour Hindi movie? Oh, yeah. Whoa, not bad. Good for you. Right, so English movies were an hour and a half, but today, everybody gets psyched by 7-minute or 8-minute YouTube videos, and that's it. Boom. If I can't get it to you in 7 minutes or less, you go home. Okay, so the whole world has changed, but our education system continues to be exactly how it was. Okay, you have a faculty member bringing you to a classroom, and while you snooze or sleep, and talk to you for an hour. I've also done classes at MIT which were 90 minutes long, believe it or not, 90 minutes. Okay, the world is changing. All right, so this is the environment we're in, and so what about edX? So edX we're a nonprofit. Okay, we are a nonprofit. We're a learning destination founded by Harvard and MIT. And our basic mission in life is to reimagine education. Okay, how can we revolutionize education? So much like Airbnb has revolutionized the hospitality industry, our mission in life is to revolutionize education. So we're a platform company. We're a platform, a nonprofit, but a platform company. So Airbnb is a platform. It's a piece of software. It's a platform. So platform has taken on a new meaning in today's world. It's a platform that connects people that want to stay someplace to people that have space in their houses. It's called a two-sided network. Similarly, edX is a platform company. We're a platform. We built a software platform, and it connects people that want to learn to institutions that have great content that they can offer. Very simple. And we've taken, unlike all the for-profit companies, whether it's TripAdvisor or Uber or Google or Amazon, all of these are platform companies. We're a nonprofit. What we've done is that not only are we a platform company, but we've taken our platform, edX, and we've also given away a platform to the world for free. It's called Open edX. For-profit companies wouldn't do that, would they? If Airbnb gave away the platform for free, then anybody could launch an Airbnb 2, Airbnb 3, Airbnb Me Too, whatever, using their own software. That's what edX has done. And as a nonprofit, our goal is to expand education everywhere and enable people to launch their own sites using Open edX. And so today, there are 1,600 sites like edX. So in France, there's a site called FUN, France Université Numérique. It's a national site, uses Open edX. And so our goal is to really find a way to educate the whole planet. So as a platform, we work with some of the top institutions in the world. Like, so let's see, what part of the world or the US do you come from? Albania, fantastic. How about yourself? Massachusetts, how about yourself? Massachusetts. Albania, Massachusetts. So you are from all over the world, okay? I bet if I go around this room, there's all states and a number of countries represented. And so what's amazing is that the learners on edX come from all parts of the world as well. And with the online medium, everybody can access all of this content. So we have these institutions like MIT and Harvard, and from the West Coast, University of California, San Diego, or Berkeley, and from Oxford in the UK, and Tsinghua in China, and IIT Bombay in India. We have 140 partners that offer their courses and programs on edX that you can learn, and you can get a lot of the content virtually for free. So just to give you a sense of how big this can get, so this classroom, when I've taught in this class, this classroom holds about 250 to 300 students, and many times it's been filled. On edX, the first course, my colleagues and I taught the first course. It was an MIT class. It was in circuits. At MIT, it's called 6002. Well, let me take a chance here. Any of you checked out that course on edX, circuits? I see some of you. OK. It's a nasty course. OK, it's a real nasty course. So I challenge you to go and cut your teeth on it. It's taken by sophomores at MIT, and you'll be shocked. 155,000 students. It was the first course on edX, no marketing. We threw it up on the web, and 155,000 students from 162 countries signed up for the course. By the end of it, this was an MIT hard course. 7,200 earned a certificate in this course. So this is the kind of magnitude, this is the kind of scale that we can have. And I will certify all day long that a person graduating from this course is as competent in this area as anybody graduating from MIT. OK? Same. And I'll show you some examples of how things like this can be done. So today, edX has grown to, slide is about a few weeks old. It's grown to 17 million learners from every single country in the world, with over 2,000 courses and programs on the platform. We've also launched a Spanish platform. And the Spanish platform, if you go to edx.org/es, there's more than 2 million learners on that platform as well. So let me connect back to what I talked about earlier as to why do I think that online learning in this manner, this kind of a platform, why we think it can revolutionize education. So I talked about how we have to reskill the whole planet. So just imagine someone that needs reskilling. Let's say they are working. They have a couple of kids, 35. What are the odds that they're going to go back to university, come sit in this class, and spend a year, 2 years, 3 years learning? Zero. No hope. It's got to be online. Second, what are the odds that they can do a 1 or 2 year master's degree? OK, you're working. I mean, what are the odds you can do at 35, your kids? Can you take off 2 years from a job to do a master's degree? No hope. So you need something modular. You need a new credential. You need something modular. You need something small. And just to show you how we have to really rethink everything. You can't bring them to campus. You can't offer them masters because it's too long. It has to be cutting edge, skills focused. And so what we've been doing is, it's not just online education. We've been trying to create new credentials, new kinds of programs. And one new program we've created is called the MicroMasters program. The MicroMasters program is about 25% of a master's degree. So let's say while you're an undergraduate, about a third of the students taking these MicroMasters are undergraduates in college. And so it's like almost like a minor. You can earn a MicroMasters credential while you're in college. There's a lot of high schoolers doing it too. Imagine earning a MicroMasters from MIT before you join MIT. It's hard, but there are people that have done that. So here's one example MicroMasters. It's one in analytics from Georgia Tech. So it's short, it's modular, and you get this credential called a MicroMasters. It also gives you a pathway to credit. So let's say, for example, you do this MicroMasters, or you do one in AI from Columbia, or in manufacturing from MIT. And then you apply to campus, and you get in. It will count towards 25% of the degree. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool in the sense of how it offers a pathway to credit, and also gives you a very important standalone credential. Each MicroMasters is also endorsed by a corporation. These are skills focused. Okay, it has to help people in their jobs and industry. And so the GE one, the one from AI in Columbia, for example, is endorsed by GE. So these are kind of the radical things that we have to do, new radical credentials, new connections to university, where university can enable people with lifelong learning. without online, without modular, without new credentials, without corporate connections, it wouldn't work. So all of these things have to come together. So if you thought that we were just about offering online courses, no, we are about reimagining how education works. And just to give you an example of the kind of benefits people are getting, so this is Mia Radish. She was working in a company locally. She doesn't have a master's. And she'd completed the micromasters in supply chain management from MIT, applied to Akamai, got a job, and she gave a little talk about it, and she doubled her income. So people that are already working or people that are in college are able to get these new micro-credentials completely online. So here are some of the people learning on edX. Since a lot of you raised your hands, one of your pictures may be on there, so take a quick look. So 43% of our learners are telling us that when they've earned these career-focused certificates, it has resulted in an improvement in their careers, a pay raise, a new job, a promotion, what have you. So now let me spend a few minutes talking about, and this part, for those of you who've taken an edX course, this stuff is going to be familiar to you, but let me give you some of the background as to why we do things the way we do. So this is an example course on edX. So this one is a course from Wellesley College. Its title was Alexander Great. Okay? And a typical course, in a lecture, you go to a lecture, the professor talks, and that's how it works for an hour. But here, the way courses work is that we have short videos. So remember, all of you are into short. It's got to be short, punchy. Give it to me like this. 4, 5, 6-minute videos, and you want to be engaged. Okay? And so the videos are interleaved with interactive exercises. Okay? Short videos with interactive exercises into these things we call learning sequences. Okay? So here's a video, here's an interactive exercise, another video, another exercise. So you're constantly engaged. And this kind of learning is called active learning. Okay? And a lot of research has shown that this kind of learning dramatically increases retention and learning outcomes. Like, in fact, they've done studies. In fact, MIT, I'm not sure if I have the data here. Nope, I didn't put the data in. Professor Gabrielli, John Gabrielli and his team in the Brain and Cognitive Science Lab at MIT did a study where they did MRIs of people who were just watching a video versus people who were watching videos interleaved with exercises. And from the MRI pattern, they could tell that one was similar to dozing in front of the TV, while the other one was, they could see the brain much more engaged. So we are biologically wired to get much more engaged when there's interaction and interactivity happening. The other thing that is fun is, in case you're wondering, why is this guy standing in snow? The videos can be a lot of fun. So on the one hand, you go to Wellesley College, the professor will stand there and tell you about Alexander crossing the Hindu Kush mountains to go and invade India in, 300, what was it? You guys know this better. Was it 300 BC or 380? 300 BC, good. I think it was 326 BC. Good for you. You're ready for your AP history. So Alexander in 326 was going across the Hindu Kush mountains to invade India. And a professor can stand, a lecturer can stand in front of the classroom and tell you that all day long. It doesn't really hit you. So what this guy did, in his video in the course, he goes into his backyard. In Massachusetts, there is this white thing that is called snow. It's like, it's cool, like cold. And it comes down, and so what he did was he went into his backyard, and he trudged through snow. And then he told the students that imagine Alexander and his army trudging through intense cold and the snow of the Hindu Kush mountains. Okay, it's a completely different way of getting people to appreciate even simple things like that. And you can do that with video and online preparation. The other thing we do is all of the exercises on edX are computer graded. Okay, now this is one example of auto grading, where you're given an exercise and you have to type in an answer. Okay, but a lot of high schools do this as well. How many of you have done physics web assigns? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. So this is probably not unlike something. I guess you guys are rising seniors, so you'll probably do this in Many of you will do this in your second semester of your final year in high school. And so here, the beauty is all of this stuff can be automatically graded. Okay, so what's so cool about this? What's so cool about this? What is cool about this is that this gives you automatic feedback. Okay, so you enter in your answer, and boom, you get a green check mark if it's correct. If it's wrong, you get a red X. So why is that cool? So it turns out that there have been many studies that have shown that instant feedback improves learning outcomes. Okay? So for example, with the instant feedback, well, what happens, not only is it cool, so here's an example statement from a student who took my circuits course, right, with the green check marks. And then he took a Berkeley course in software, and the green check marks appeared there again. So this was a comment that he wrote about the green check mark on the discussion forums. Okay, so instant feedback is engaging. So just so you guys don't quite appreciate this yet, but imagine. So how many of you have played video games? Oh, hardly anybody. Okay. So imagine a video game. Imagine a video game where, let's say, for example, I'll use a very benign video game. You have to shoot a basket into a hoop. Okay, so you shoot a basket, you click and you shoot a basket, and as the ball goes up, it kind of pauses and says, come back in 2 weeks and I'll give you the answer. But that's how colleges are. You submit a homework and you get your answers back 2 weeks, or you get grades back 2 weeks later. It is utterly boring. Video games are fun because they get instant feedback. Okay, so imagine how many of you would be playing video games if for each thing that you did, it said, come back in 2 weeks and I'll tell you whether you got it right or wrong. Okay, that would be the fastest way to kill the whole video game industry. And we've been doing this in education for 1,000 years and gotten away with it. So it's not surprising. There have been a lot of studies, and don't take my word for it. A number of research studies have shown that instant feedback increases learning outcomes. And it's more engaging as well. I mean, there's no question. And so on edX, the exercise is computer graded. And it's not just multiple choice, by the way. There's all kinds of stuff. You can grade chemical equations. You can grade matrix equations. You can grade chemistry. And I'll give you a quick example of grading circuits. Okay, so in physics, you learn about circuits. And so we have game-like labs. So it's almost like a video gaming exercise. So I'll show you a small video. All right, so this is a little breadboard. How many of you have built little circuits on breadboards? Everybody has, okay. So Bob, do you have any breadboard exercises for the group over the next month?
I don't think so.
Okay, next time. So here's a breadboard. So all of you know what a breadboard is. So you know about plugging in little thingies called resistors and little battery cables, and then you see fun things happening, right? You can do all of this stuff online. There's very little stuff that you can't do online. Okay, so watch this. So this is a virtual lab on edX. Okay, students can build their own circuits. So here's someone building their own circuit. They can click on set input parameters and click on an oscilloscope and look at waveforms and so on, all completely online, and it's instantly graded. It's really cool. And we can even grade when things are right or wrong based on this lab. And in fact, this online lab was created by my own colleague, Chris Sturman, who teaches here. So with these online labs, you get kind of this gaming experience into the whole online fold. And so it's not just about multiple choice. So don't let anyone tell you that online is just about videos and multiple choice. We've gone so far from that, it's not even funny. We have discussion forums. Okay, so in classes, you're told, do not talk to your neighbor. Okay, you're not supposed to talk. But here we encourage conversations in the discussion forum, and people are chatting and discussing. When you watch the video, right below it is a discussion forum. The edX platform is pretty unique in that way, where the discussion forum appears right below all the content that you see, unlike having to go to a separate place. It's pretty cool. And so people can interact with each other and ask questions from each other. And in fact, I had this major epiphany when we taught the edX course, the first course. When we had 155,000 students sign up for the course, I thought we're dead. I had planned on about 200, like a campus class, and we had 155,000. So we didn't realize the power of automatic computer grading and so on. So I had 2 instructors, my colleague and we had 4 teaching assistants. And not only that, we were so worried that the entire software team of edX in those days, 6 people, they're all in the discussion forum trying to answer questions. And so I was up one night at about 2 o'clock at night, and a student from Pakistan popped in with a question. So I said, OK, let me answer the question, and I'm typing. And I didn't grow up with the keyboard attached to my wrist. So I typed slowly. So I'm going, karang, typing the answer. And before I've gone to the 17th character, boom, an answer has popped up from someone in New Zealand. It's not quite the right answer. So I said, OK, deleted my start. And I said, let me fix that answer. And now I'm on to the 19th character now. And boom, another response has popped in from someone in Brazil. And then I sat back absolutely and utterly fascinated. People were discussing and arguing, Brazil, USA, New Zealand, India, all over, boom, 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 boom. And the discussion forum was rife with discussion. And in the end, they got the answer. And all I had to do at 4 a.m., this was 4 a.m. now, all I had to do was, as an instructor, you can go in and bless an answer. It's called right answer. You can bless it. So it's like an endorsement. The instructor can endorse an answer. It's like a thumbs up and so on, or like an up vote, and so I did it. It was cool, and all I had to do was, that's it. And you don't even need to do that. The students know when something is right. It's a huge epiphany, and so it's, and you learn by doing, you learn by teaching, and that's so important. So in the last few minutes, before we open it up to questions, let me dream with you about what is the future of education, okay? Now, you all are getting into college. I should say more of college education. We're starting college in a year or 2 or thereabouts. And things will be slightly different, but not wholly different. So let me just dream with you a little bit as to what I think that the future will hold. I see 3 major trends. One is called modular education. One is called omnichannel education. And the third one is lifelong education. And you've already seen me allude to these. What is modular education? Modular means education will come in bite-sized chunks at all levels. Okay, so for example, today you have degrees. You have big fat degrees, bachelor's degrees, and you have 2-year master's degrees. So let's say you start a master's degree, and after 6 months you decide it's not for you or you had enough of learning, and you leave. What do they call you? Dropout, loser, quitter. But you know stuff, 6 months worth of good stuff. So why are they calling you a loser? That's because our education system is a loser. We are dumb, okay? So instead what we should do, we need to fix the education system, not you. Because people like to see education in smaller chunks. So what we've done, said, okay, you can learn as much or as little as you want, then it should be okay. Why should I have you make, okay, let me ask you a question. So how many of you watch YouTube videos? All of you do, all right. So how many of you have watched every YouTube video that you watched to the very end? We have a diligent person in the room here. Yeah, I want you to come work for me. None of you, right? But that's okay. You're getting as much or as little as you want, and you're done. Why can't we do the same with education? So one thing we've done with modular education is we have this micromasters. It's a piece of a master's. It's just 25% of a master's. So you can complete a micromasters, and you can claim victory, and you get a certificate. Okay, you're not called a loser. You're called a micromasters program certificate earner, a graduate. So this is cool. You can post that on LinkedIn. 46% of learners on edX are posting their certificates on LinkedIn. Okay, you can put that on your resume. You can be proud about it. In fact, the MIT Admissions also has a column where you can put edX certificates on. These are all valuable things. So what you can do is earn a micromasters. And then what you can do is we've launched what is called a very novel stacked degree program, which is, why don't we have degrees with stacked modules, where you can do as many or as little as you want. So you can complete, so with Georgia Tech, we've launched a data analytics master's degree completely online on edX for $10,000. The campus degree is $40,000. Okay, 40,000 bucks. On edX, 10,000 bucks. Anywhere in the world. MicroMasters, no admissions. Admissions are a pain in the neck. Okay, I had 2 kids who went through this stuff. It's a nightmare. Recommendations, SATs, and grades, and all kinds of stuff. And who cares? Just do the mic. Just do the. Good. If you can do well in my course, why the heck should I care if your father or mother has a PhD? Why the heck should I care what the friggin' SAT scores are? Why should I care? Why should I care what your science teacher thought about you in high school? Why should I care what your high school GPA is? Why should I care where you went to school? I don't care. If you can come and do well in my course, do it. I'm happy. Just show me. Okay, don't show me your history. Why should I care about your history? So with edX, these MicroMasters are open admissions. Anybody can come in and try. And if you just succeed in parts of it, you get certificates as you go along. And if you don't like it, get done, move on. And then you can apply. So we're not quite there yet. You still have to apply for the rest of the degree. So we're getting there slowly. Okay, we're at second base. We need to get to third base. So you have to apply for a degree somewhere or the other. And if you get admitted, you can complete the whole degree. But the beauty is that with some of our university partners are now willing to accept your performance on the MicroMasters as the sole admissions criteria. Okay, so it's open admission here. If you can show that you can demonstrate competence in those courses, which will count towards your degree, it becomes an admission. Okay, leave your SATs, GREs, all that stuff at home. Okay, if you can cut it, why do I need all this stuff? So this is the beauty of modularity. We can stack. With modularity, we can share. So sharing is cool. So let's say you come to Boston University. Why can't you take, if you really, really want to take a course from IIT, why can't you take one? Why only Boston University courses? Why can't you share? So here's one example. This is the IT university in Pakistan. And they allow their students to earn a MicroMasters in data science from University of California, San Diego on edX. And that counts towards their, they take 6 courses or 7 courses on campus, earn the MicroMasters on edX, and when they're done, they get a master's degree in data science from IT University in Pakistan. You can start with modularity, you can share. Education becomes like Lego blocks. Okay, you can mix and match and you get, I mean, isn't that cool? And no admissions. Okay, you can plug and play. Because I'm just happy with these 2 blocks, I'm done, I got a job. And then 6 years from now, the field will change and something else becomes important, you'll learn another block there. And maybe 8 years later, you say, oh my goodness, I have enough for a master's. Maybe degrees won't matter. You imagine that? Anything could happen. So omnichannel. So Amazon acquired Whole Foods. Amazon is an online juggernaut. Whole Food was in place. In retail, the whole retail is going omnichannel, in-person and online. Similarly, education will go the same way, both in-person and online offerings. So just as an example, we've had many examples on edX where universities are now allowing their students to take courses 100% online and get credit. MIT did it, Georgia Tech did it. So Georgia Tech, the great university, at Georgia Tech, they allowed the students to take the freshman Intro to Python course completely online on edX. 42,000 students enrolled. And students also did a campus course and they did an A/B test. Again, they concluded students learned the same in both places. In fact, 82% of the students rated the online course as a better experience than the campus course. Okay, the world is changing, guys and gals. And finally, the last thing, so 3 things. One is modular education. Second is omnichannel education. Things will become online and in-person. Even in your generation, as you go to college, there'll be a lot more online opportunities. And if you don't find any, you guys need to litigate for it. You can say, I need my sleep. Okay, I want to learn at midnight. Okay, you guys are power. And then the third part is lifelong learning, where gone are the days when people learn at the age of 18. You will need to learn throughout life as newer and newer fields are popping up. We need new credentials in order to do that. We need sites like a number of these career sites that enable you to share credentials. We need ways to get rid of admissions and do things in a more continuous manner and really enable lifelong learning. So with that, let me pause and take questions from you. Who has the first question? Let's go back there. And where are you from? Where are you from?
I'm from
North New Jersey. All right. So the question was a really good question, and I should really have covered that in my talk. But if I had covered everything, there wouldn't have been any questions. So the question was, all right, this is all well and good, cool stuff. But at the end of the day, employers have to buy into these new credentials. What if employers don't agree that this is a valuable credential? So what we are doing there is that you're completely right. We have to work with employers. So remember, every MicroMasters, and by the way, this is a master's level. If you were dreamers, and if you were strategizing where edX should go, where would you think edX should or would go in the future after the masters?
job-related specializations.
Job-related specializations. Well, MicroMasters are already that. We have professional certificates as well. But yeah. Move down to higher education and bachelor's. Keep dreaming. It could happen. Watch the news. All right, so back to your question, how do we get employers to buy into this? So one is each of the MicroMasters has an endorsement from a corporation. Okay, that's the first step. Second is we've begun to form partnerships with companies where they've now begun to guarantee interviews for graduates from MicroMasters. So for example, GE will guarantee an interview to any Massachusetts resident who completes one of 4 MicroMasters: supply chain management, AI, cybersecurity, and cloud computing. Anybody here from India? Some of you are. So Tech Mahindra is one of the top 3 info giants in India. They will guarantee an interview to anybody in India who completes one of 10 MicroMasters. Not all 10, but any one. They will guarantee an interview. So these things are democratizing education. Doesn't matter who your parents are, doesn't matter where you are from, you will get an interview. So we are working towards making these credentials established within the industry as well. Great question. Yeah. The question is, what about places that don't have access to the internet and computers? So let me break the answer down into 2 steps. The first step is that if we can help and reach at least all those people that have access to the internet and wireless or data, that would be 3/4 of the world. That would be a big step. Okay, we're not there yet. Between edX and OpenEdX today, edX is the world's #1 learning platform. We have close to 37 million students. It's overtaken all the competition. It's the #1. But 37 million is still far short of the 1 or 2 billion that we would like to get to. And so our goal is 1 billion learners. And so we still have a ways to go. But if we can still get to all the people that have internet, great thing. What about those that don't have internet? So first of all, we are on mobile. And I'll do a little plug. If you haven't downloaded, and as a nonprofit, I can feel very comfortable plugging edX. If you haven't done it, download the edX mobile app and share it with your friends. So you can still use mobile data. You can use mobile data as well. And just yesterday, I got a call from a Telecarib in St. Lucia, where they want to create a hub for St. Lucians. And Telecarib is willing to provide zero cost for data through wireless. So many mobile carriers are trying to help. And then third, for people that don't have internet access, edX is open source. So there are a couple of nonprofits in Africa that have taken the edX platform and launched edX in a box, where they have a server in a village. It's nothing to do with edX, it's our platform. They have a server in a box, and they make it available through local internet. So further nonprofits are expanding the work that we are doing. let's come to this side for a bit. Yes, in the purple shirt. Which town are you from? Chelmsford, okay. A great question, which is a big part of learning is learning hands-on, and in fact, you're here with Bob Shin. By the way, this guy, probably the world leader in some pretty amazing program you're in. You're here for making stuff, for building stuff, hands-on stuff, right? So what do you do about building stuff and hands-on stuff online? So first of all, remember I said omnichannel learning is the future. You can learn a lot online and then you do some things in person. That's omnichannel. Okay, so you can build things in person. The other thing is many edX courses have ways of building the making within the platform. So for example, there's an amazing course by John Valvano and Yarabali. Valvano and Yarabali have from UT Austin. Anybody here from Austin? So Valvano and Yarabali from Austin, UT Austin, have a great course on edX and embedded systems. And as part of that, they built a very inexpensive kit. And they worked with TI, and TI makes that kit available anywhere in the world at a very low cost through their distribution centers. So you can buy the kit, download it, and download the software. And while you're doing the course, you can actually do things with hands-on stuff. So there are many ways of getting the hands-on as part of an online experience. Next question. Yes? So a question is, how does edX compare to things like Khan Academy? So first of all, it is very synergistic. Salman Khan was my student here at MIT. In fact, I've taught Sal Khan in this very classroom. He sat in one of your, I think it was in '97 or earlier, maybe earlier. He graduated about 20 years ago. So he sat in one of these very seats here. So first of all, I'm a huge fan. And frankly, I was inspired by Sal. So if you've taken my own course, all of my videos, I call them KSVs. You know what a KSV stands for? Khan. That's very theoretical. Khan-style video. Okay, so it's on a tablet, and all of my videos, I have like 500 videos, are all done. I would call Sal and Khan and say, hey, look, how did you do this, and so on, and give me a lot of advice. And so all my videos are heavily inspired by him. But in terms of how we're different, very complementary. I think Khan Academy, we are a nonprofit, he's a nonprofit. Our platform is open source. I've been pounding on Sal, make your platform open source. He has not done that yet, he should. And then I think his courses are more focused at the high school and school level. edX is, we have about 100 high school level courses. By the way, for those of you who don't know, we have a large number of high school AP courses. There's thousands of students doing AP courses on edX and then sitting for the AP exam. And so we have high school, but our sweet spot is college and job skills level courses. The other thing is that Khan focuses not as much on courses and certifications, but much more on if you have a problem to solve, how do I go and solve the differential equation? How do you go and do that? While on edX, it's more you take a course and you get a certificate. In fact, in my circuits course, Khan Academy, I needed the solution to first-order differential equations. And I discovered, shockingly, Sal didn't have it. So he actually created a module for me that I link off of my course on how to solve first-order differential equations. I said, I need that for my course. So he built it. So it's, we think of us as partners, and Khan Academy is amazing. Yes?
Do you see edX and similar platforms collaborating with companies like Amazon to distribute these kits around the world?
The question is, do you see collaborating with companies like Amazon and so on to distribute kits and other stuff around the world? So first of all, Amazon is an edX partner. Amazon is, Microsoft is, IBM is, MongoDB is, all of these companies, and also many nonprofits like Amnesty International and World Bank are offering courses on edX. In fact, Amazon has a professional certificate program on edX and cloud services. So we are already collaborating with them. And with IBM, actually, we just launched a course on edX on how to build a chatbot. So you can learn how to build a chatbot from IBM on edX. It's pretty cool. But that said, so Amazon, we are doing that with edX. And the question is, can we collaborate with them to distribute kits? So we are doing that with TI. And so I can easily imagine more and more of these kits available. I would love to see a little chemistry kit. And the Valvano and Yarabali is a embedded systems kit. I can easily see a lot of that happening as well. Robotics kits, there's so much that can be done. Yes?
I have sort of two questions. One is more technical, the other one's more thinking.
See, one is more technical, one is more thinking. So he assumes that technical does not involve thinking. But anyway, go ahead.
So for the technical, for the final, does it have to be taken in person? Because I feel like if it's online,
Yep, I get it.
there would be the possibility of
Yep.
cheating. It is?
No, so let me answer the question.
Okay.
My mental stack is very short, and so I'll forget the first question if you ask the second. So the question is, what about exams and so on? So we are giving out these amazing credentials called MicroMasters, right? So can you imagine, without ever going to Columbia, without ever getting admission into Columbia, and anyway, admissions is an old concept. It'll go away in 10, 20 years, I think. Imagine you can get a MicroMasters from Columbia in AI. You can get a MicroMasters from Berkeley in marketing analytics. The Smith College, the Smith Business School from University of Maryland, just launched a MicroMasters in an MBA that counts towards an MBA. So it's like a small MBA. It's incredible. So these things, these credentials are amazing, right? And the question is, how do we prevent cheating? How do we know there are exams as part of this, right? The MicroMasters. How do you know that someone who completed a MicroMasters is who they are? How do we know that they didn't cheat? And so we don't want them to go to a physical test center because that defeats the purpose of online education. We have students from Ulaanbaatar in Mongolia. In fact, Batushig was one of our real star high school learners who aced my circuits course, applied to MIT, got in, and he graduated, now works at Facebook. Any number of stories about amazing kids who've done amazing stuff. Where is he going to find a test center in Ulaanbaatar? So we cannot have the physical constraints of travel and expense and so on, defeat the very purpose that we are after. So what we do is, how do we solve the problem? Okay, how would you? Okay, let me throw it back at you makers. How would you solve that problem? How would you make sure that students are not cheating? Let's go with you there. Yeah, how would you solve that problem? Yes.
So monitor web page access. So they
Monitor web page access. Oh, what else? Good. What else? Back there on the. Yep. The last right. Yep. You yourself. Pardon? Well, create an interface so that they have to complete the test before they move on and do something. So I'll just keep collecting all your answers and then get. Okay, how about you?
Face tracking, so we can see.
Face tracking. Face tracking. Face tracking for good. Yes.
Take a video of their surroundings so they
Handson software will take a video of the surroundings.
Potential live streaming of their screen.
Potential live streaming of their screen. Let's see, how about you in the sweater? Yeah.
That like short, like when the questions can search online, they're more theoretical questions that you might not find a direct answer to.
More abstract questions. Even change the questions. How about you? Honor code. You guys were going really, really well so far until the honor code. I'll talk about that. All right. By the way, we do all of the above. Okay. I'm still missing one or two things. Yes.
Based large scale problems, so you can't just copy paste multiple choice answers.
Fair enough. That's good. Last one.
test time they have.
Make test time. What else? Okay, let's go. You guys are in such a role here, solving my problem for me. You answered. Okay, how about you?
Response answers where you can write out your solutions instead of just a single response.
Okay. But having people write out the solutions is harder to grade. So that's a challenge. So you got to balance that. Yes.
Making clear that a certificate is worthless without in any employment or admissions context, unless there is a human interaction when they actually go there.
The question is, this self-defeating. The answer is saying, tell them that the certificate is worthless, so they won't cheat, unless there is some other human interaction and so on, unless there's human interaction or live interaction when you interview. But I'd like the certificates to be worth something, even without that. So, okay, so the answer is, answer is all of the above. So all of these are great ideas. And we do all of the above. So, so for the MicroMasters, if you do the exams are online. We can time it. You can start whenever you want, but we time the exam. And so we screen scrape and video stream the screen. We have them use the camera to show the room surroundings so they don't have their pet canary sitting around whispering answers to them. We also make sure that and a video of the entire exam taking is captured, compressed, and shot into the cloud. And we actually work with an organization that actually has people in a foreign country that are watching offline all of the videos compressed to see if cheating is happening or not. Okay, talk about big brother, big sister here, right? Instead of having a proctor stand behind you and walk around watching you like in a physical exam, here you have the camera doing it. So there are a number of ways that we can crack this, crack this thing, and it is still possible to cheat, but it makes it very, very hard. And the other thing we do is that we have randomized problem sets, so everybody gets different problems. Every person can get, in my circuits course, for example, in the exams, every person gets a different numerical answer, so everybody gets different numbers. And so, so there's quite a few things that we do in order to prevent cheating. And is it perfect? No. You got a question?
Machines can do it.
Yes. So the question is, having humans watch the people? The answer is yes. So in fact, we're now looking to also work with another company that will track the faces, and they have software that will flag cheating episodes. Now, part of this is called, it's a research field called intent recognition. And CSAIL here at MIT, there's a bunch of people doing research on, by watching you, they can tell you what the intent is. And so it's amazing. So very soon we'll use AI to solve the very problems that we have with exams and so on. So it's not very far. Next question. Let's go back there. Yes. Yeah. Pardon? The question is, have you done anything with OpenCourseWare? Absolutely. I had one of the early adopters of OpenCourseWare. My circuits course has been on OpenCourseWare for a long time. And you can think of OpenCourseWare as kind of the, as a first step towards what became Open edX in terms of open, open access. And I think it's extremely important. And we're trying to just continue that legacy forwards. In fact, the way we began edX was after OpenCourseWare, I wanted to see if I could do an online lab. So, so in about 2005, I built something called WebSim. See, it's still there right now. If you Google WebSim and Agarwal, you go to the site. It was my pet project. And I said to myself, if I can teach a lab online, then we can think of doing something much bigger. And so in its day, 10 or 15 years ago, WebSim had about 200 to 300 users every day. So you can think of it as the first MOOC lab in 2003, 2004, well before the whole MOOC movement started. But right now, if you go there, it's got a bug, and I just haven't had the time to go fix it. So, so I need to. It also uses old technology, uses Perl and CGI, and now it's all Python. And so I need to learn Python one of these days and fix it. Yes. So the question is, do professors from other universities come to edX to create the courses, or do we reach out to them? Really, we have a set of tools, cloud-based tools. It's called EDX Studio. And in fact, maybe I should get Bob, the next time he offers Beaverworks, to actually have a little project where each of you creates your own course on edX. It's called EDX Studio. It's cloud-based. You can go in and professors create courses wherever they are. It's an authoring platform. Yes.
Are there any written assignments
what about written assignments? Yes, there are a lot of written assignments. And the question is, how do you grade them? So let me ask you, how would you, so we have written assignments on edX, in fact, in exams as well. So how would you grade them? How would you grade written assignments? Yes? AI. What else? Anything else? How about real AI? I mean, how about real I? So we grade handwritten essays in two ways, real intelligence and artificial intelligence. So we built a program. It's called, I'm blanking out of the name. It's an AI tool, machine learning tool, that grades the first one, where the instructor grades the first 100 essays and against a rubric. That trains a machine learning model, and then the machine AI grades the remaining 100,000 essays at virtually instant speed. So we have that technology. We've also open sourced it. The second one is you can use real intelligence. And what we do there is that on edX, we have what is called peer evaluation, where you submit your answers and then you grade 2 or 3 others. And you provide feedback, and people can incorporate the feedback and you can grade them. And finally, for very high stakes exams, we have a way for hand grading to be integrated into the peer grading flow, where some of the essays can be, for example, if there's a mismatch between or some threshold difference, we can actually have TAs graded. So these are all ways in which you can do it. Yes?
So do you have like a system where people can give feedback or requests for certain courses that they don't find, like say like a language that you don't teach on edX? If somebody wants to learn and doesn't have the resources to learn it themselves, if they send in a request, would you be able to create a custom course or like just like based on what they ask, a course that they have?
The question is, that people want to learn about a lot of things. And if a lot of people want to learn something, can they send a request into edX for us to create a course on that? So we do a lot of market research to figure out what courses will be popular and so on, and try to create courses on that. And if you guys have suggestions, the easiest way to really influence us would be use social media. If you can get enough people to sign up and say, look, edX should really offer this course, that will influence us. We really listen to people as to what to create. We don't have an automatic way of doing it, but we really look at what our learners want, what the market wants. Yes?
For courses in edX, what is safety?
Like throughout the course, you have the questions, and they'll like have some resumes about what you learned on each modules, that kind of things, and then they'll probably evaluate that to see if it correlates with the last things that you learned.
Yeah, so this is an idea for a better evaluation and a more continuous evaluation of students. I think this is a good idea. I think all we do right now is you can save your progress, but we can't do exactly what you're saying. So I'd love to hear more from you as to what you're thinking about and why you think that will be helpful. Way in the back. Yeah.
A lot of different situations, different types of. So, in your opinion, what's one direction that you could take EDX?
I didn't quite follow the question. You're saying in what direction? Let me repeat it to see if I got it. Okay. The question: what are your plans for the future in terms of learning or other services and so on? I would say there's 2 or 3 things. One is we have some pilot adaptive learning on the platform right now, which is as you're learning, each student gets a different pathway depending on your own cognition. We have some courses, for example, we have a high school algebra and a high school geometry and a high school trig course. Those are all adaptive learning. There's a Harvard course on the Earth that's adaptive, but we're looking to build adaptivity into the full platform. So that is one example. Second is at some point in the future, we'll have more engagement for something like a live interaction where people can interact live with each other or with instructors. So there's many of these things that you'll be seeing in the future. Okay, so I think I need to move on. So thank you again. Great questions. Thank you.